Hi everybody, welcome to Anti-Workers United. We have an AMA with CrazyMeta, so let's get started by having you, Eddie, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about background about you, about the project, about your team, how you guys got together, how you got this idea, and then we'll go on to the presentation of the main project.
Thank you very much, guys. Hi all, my name is Eddie, along with my CTO, Alex. Say hi, Alex. Yeah, thank you for the chance to share our projects to you guys, Before I jump into the presentation, I want this to be like a very fun AMA. So, Alex, why don't you ask your favorite questions,
Sure. So, first of all, thank you so much, Boria, for having us here today. It's pretty awesome. Quite excited. Even though it's 4 a.m., I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And we went to the Shark Tank with you. That was awesome. And we hope to wow you with what we got today. So, ask us all the tough questions. That's what we're here for. And totally ready for this. Let's do it.
Sure. Before we start, we just want to be connected to all of you guys who's invested in the market right now, man. The CPI numbers are coming out. Just to dive in a little bit before we proceed with the real thing. I think Jewel.
I've been mostly in BUSD. I've been kind of buying the dips and selling the pumps.
Nice.
I've been stacking up ETH, getting as much ETH as I can.
I think Jewel, you got in at 950, which is congratulations to you. So I just want to ask those questions. Basically, I would like to connect with you guys to let you know that I understand totally how unstable the market is right now, and do know the emotions of fears are lingering. But want to give you the assurance that we are a mature startup with ambitions as well as milestone, which Boya was in one of the Shark Tanks. I remember it was like 2 months ago that Boya us on our valuations and every single thing, So just like the questions that Boya had asked, I'm just going to go through a little background of myself. In 2015, I had a startup of fintech that I raised in a more traditional way to the A round. In 2018, I'm so fortunate to meet up with my CTO right here, Alex, that we have done a ICO together. And thereafter, I got a factory that I did with my immediate families, and there's a division inside I'm very proud of, which I groomed them from 0 to 12 person that are doing Amazons as well as eBay and drop shipping. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this experience to you guys are very simple. I want to share that we are seasoned startup founders. We have gone through the funding rounds. Like Boya, you are strict and you are the questions are tough, but the VCs are tougher, and the financial models and projections are even worse. So the factory, I want to show to you guys that the production service manufacturing, we have the core competencies as well as lasting, which is divisions of Amazon and all those. It's like we know how to do the logistic as well, because we'll be sending the physical shoes from Canada to Singapore and stuff like that. So we have the core competencies that we are going to prove to you, and not only that, we're going to show it to you. So to respect your time as well as to let you know more, to let you guys ask more questions in this AMA, which I bet the host has a tons of it. I promise to keep this content of the presentation short while sharing the visions of CrazyMeta. So in a nutshell, what are we? We create wearable NFTs for the virtual worlds of games and metaverse, and we make them physical as well, which I'm going to show it to you. With the goal of disrupting the advertising platform, which we are going to call it Wear2Earn. It's nothing of the run-to-earn hype right now. It's totally different. And yeah, you can ask, and we'll be more than happy to share it with you. So allow me for the next 1 or 2 minutes to show you a couple of slides to guide you through our process, at the same time reinforce your confidence for the project itself. So Boya, if you don't mind, I would love to share the PPT.
I think you could share it and I'll pin it.
I cannot, because it's under Canva. So okay. So I've just shared the screen right here. Hang on a second. Can you see it? Is it up?
Okay, yeah, I see it. Let me go. Yeah, let's see yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, is it full screen, guys?
I see it, Eddie.
Yep, I see it.
Thank you very much. So CrazyMeta, we are powering fashion in the multiverse. I mind, it's not a metaverse, it's the multiverse. We'll be dominating all the different dimensions. How are we going to do that? We do have the competencies even before CrazyMeta. You're looking at a 48-person designer team. They don't call themselves designers anymore. They are like 3D modelers. So not only are we taking, this is, I have a small stake in this. So we are not only taking like virtual clothing, we are doing anything that are virtual assets related. So we are doing bosses, we are doing NPCs. So the clients are like established brands, animes companies, and game development companies. So with this professionalism, we want to move up the value chain. That's the reason why we want to created CrazyMeta for it. At the same time, we want to sell directly to the buyers, the collectors, as well as the gamers, and not to go through the intermediaries. And how do we do it? We do it with sneakers. And you know, the first generation of the NFT is totally gone. We need functionalities to it. And what are the functionalities? It's basically for every single NFT drops that we do, for the different colors, we are going to make it into a voxelated files that gamers are able to bring it to the metaverse, like the sandbox, and wear it in the avatar, or bring it to the online games that they are able to wear to the character when they are playing. So not only that, we, by having the fundings that we have, we are going to be the interoperable layers that will be any NFTs that go through this DAO layer will be compatible with the games as well as the metaverse itself. I think Alex is going to talk more about the DAO. Just let me finish 2 slides. This is the physical that not only are we going to do the NFTs as well as the voxelated file, we do have a physical shoe itself. And how are we going to do it? I'm going to show it to you in the next 2 slides. We have already partnered with the original one of the 10,000 ape. He's actually one of the founding investor, and he has it, and we signed a contract with him that we are able to put it into the sneakers of our Genesis launch itself. And how does it look like? This is how it's going to look like. And yes, I'm going to show it to you in a while, the real physical thing. This is one of the 6 colors that we will be releasing in the Milan exhibition that about 20 to 30,000 sneakerheads will be going. And at the Milan launch itself, we are going to have a booth. We're going to show off the 1 to 6 colors. At the same time, there'll be an iPad below of the sample shoes, and they are going to scan on QR code that purchase the NFT itself. So at the Milan, maybe some of the people are like saying, hey, I got to try out what colors and stuff. We'll be launching our AR functionalities that you're going to like scan your feet, and then you can pick the colors, and then you can choose which one you like, and then you can purchase it there and then. So I have already show a little bit of what my past history is. James is the guy that is doing all the designing, and he's managing all the designers right now. And Alex is with me. Alex, you want to share a little bit about your history?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my name is Alex, and I'm a tech guy. You know, grew up in my mom's basement. Graduated from there to China. Now, I've been in Asia for about almost 15 years now, 14 years or something like that. And I'm doing, consulting and just like, bringing companies to China, bringing Chinese companies outside of China, basically on the tech side. So it's like, touched all the different tech stacks, web, database stuff. Been doing this kind of consulting for a long time. I got into blockchain quite early. I'm OG Bitcoin, and was really, I love the tech. I'm super into it, and like I really like that, that side of the whole space. And yeah, I met Eddie in 2018 when we were working on his startup. I was like in a consultory role, and then we kind of like got to know each other, and it was kind of fate. And recently we started with CrazyMeta, and that's been a lot of fun too, getting into metaverse and all this kind of stuff. So that's kind of the story.
Okay, a little bit more about Alex. He finished the smart contract in 3 weeks, and our smart contract has been audited by CertiK, and that's how We got to meet Larry from Certic, and Larry introduced us to Jewel. Jewel introduced us to Z, and the whole chain of events happen. Yeah, the last slide of this is basically to show that we are raising our private raise right now. The discount for it is about 33.3% compared to the IDO price. We have made it very friendly that after you invested, after TGE, which is 3 days after our Milan, we are gonna go through our IDO, and TGE should be by end of October or early November. With some of the we are going through IEO as well with some of the tier 1 or tier 2. So you are good. If you invest right now, you're going to get like 70% after TGE, and the next 30% we would love to grow with you. That we will vest it for 6 months, but at the same time you will get it in your wallet daily. So these are the slides. But before I move on and show the let you have the answers, questions and answering. Let me show you. Hi guys, not only doxing myself just to say hi, it's a privilege to be here. This is what I want to show you at 4:21 my time. So Boya, this is what you have not seen during the Shark Tank. This is the prototype of the shoe, which I brought along, took a flight over to see Alex. And if you can look at the quality of it, this is leather, New Zealand wool leather, and I don't know whether you can see it. This is the ape where we're going to put it at. I do apologize. This is like there's no base on it because we had a 3D printed for the base that I have to give it back to the factory. That they are coming up with the next iterations of the prototype. So this is it, guys. This is one of the so-called 6 colors that we are going to release during the exhibitions. Okay. And to end up the final part of the presentations before you guys do the ANAs, basically, I would love to reiterate that the seed round is open for 2 weeks. And after you filled out the form, which we're going to put in the group, DJM guys are going to follow up with you guys in the next 24 hours and to just follow up with your investments and support, which we are very grateful and thankful of. And the last thing to share, which is the last repeat of what I just said, we are going to launch these NFTs at the exhibitions that about 20 or 30,000 will be in Milan. That's why we needed a raise, because we have been bootstrapped to delay, and the moving forward, the partners are like saying that we need the support of the community, to move forward. And we will be doing IDO by the end of October and early November. Thank you very much for the presentation, for me as well as from Alex. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, so you guys are done with the presentation?
Yes, done.
All right, so
15 minutes.
You're making shoes. You're also allowing customers to make their own shoes, right? And there's NFTs involved. Can you maybe go over like the process or what your plans are from like today? Like right now you're doing the AMAs, doing partnerships. The IDO, we still fairly early, right? I think November you said, or November is going to be the launch.
Yes. Yeah. So the exhibition is actually 2 exhibitions in October. One in Milan, the other one is Rotterdam. On the 9 is Milan, and the 29 is Essendon. So basically, we will go through the exhibitions to get all the NFT raised. Sold up, and we are going to go to the IDO then in parallel. So you are asking of the full process of how it works. I think, Alex, why don't you bring it through from the DAO and to the metaverse? Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically what you said is absolutely correct. So we're creating shoes. We have a kind of process that allows other creators, members of the community, or even brands to come and bring something to the DAO that we mentioned. And then there's this whole pipeline of like things that needs to happen in order for our product to be actualized. And so like that's the NFT. Well, that's this cross compatibility layer into the different metaverses and games via the NFT. All kinds of like different bridging that has to happen because we have to be on the chain of the metaverse that the user wants to be on, and so on. And then there's like the whole physical component as well, right? So if somebody designs something, brings it to the DAO, people vote on it. People are like, yeah, I want to see this. I want to buy this. I want to buy the NFT, kind of like as a crowdfunding type scenario, right? And then that actually gets produced like as a real physical product. Like that whole pipeline is basically what we are, right? That's what CrazyMeta is. And while we have our own products that we design ourselves and we bring to the market that way, we really want to kind of open it up. And I'm a big fan of like decentralized kind of processes and companies and organizations, I guess. And that's what we want to do. We want to open that up and let people basically take part in that, and give them all the tools that are needed, from conceptualization, design, minting NFTs, putting them across the different chains, and actually the physical product at the end. So yeah, that whole process is basically what we offer to our users.
All right, so you guys are currently a registered company?
Yes, we are.
We are registered. I will share the incorporation later in the group. We are registered in BVI for your information.
So what are your pronouns? I'm just joking. Like, what do you guys identify like as a company? Like, would you say you're a blockchain company, sneaker company, or like what's like the main thing that you guys would say you identify as?
I mean, like for me, it's an interesting question. Like nobody's ever asked us that. That's so strange that because it seems like such a natural question. But like if you had to ask me, we're a blockchain powered fashion company, maybe a company that is on the periphery of gaming and somewhere between gaming and fashion.
To answer on my side as well, I hope no one tell our banker, because BVI company right now are very strict on opening bank accounts. So if you ask like the actual registration, we just put design and manufacturing, because anything that touches blockchain and crypto, you're not going to get like a corporate bank account. So if anyone over here is able to open a BVI bank account, let me know. DM me. But we opened two already, so we are totally fine. But yeah, just like what Alex has said, that would be the basic pronoun that you have asked.
Okay, so you guys are like it's a fashion, crypto. So you're gonna be making shoes. You'll be selling fashion wear. You're also having a token and NFTs, and you will be providing a service that will allow others to make their shoes also how they want, right? Like kind of like custom design shoes and NFTs. And why NFTs? Like, why are NFTs necessary for this? Like, and what will be the use of the NFTs? How will they all tie in with this?
The NFTs are necessary because of the integration into the different games and metaverses, right? So if you take your shoe into Minecraft or something like this, like only you have that shoe, right? Like you are the owner of this NFT, and then you can do that. So it's really, it's what it's actually for, right? Why NFTs were created. It is a token that represents ownership of, a certain limited set of designs that only you can wear into the metaverse.
Okay, so the NFTs will be the avenue to introduce the physical shoe into the different games.
Yes. By the way, there's something that I agree with everything you said, like that you kind of nailed it, except for one point, which is we're currently starting with shoes. Shoes are the hardest to produce fashion apparel or fashion item that exists. Socks are much easier to produce, or T-shirts or something like that. But we started with shoes simply to prove to ourselves that we can create like anything. Like we're sitting here in China. Eddie has very good manufacturing experience, and we just went to the hardest one, shoes, and we're like, all right, let's make some shoes. And after that, we can make pretty much anything, right? Like we're looking at top hats, we're looking at all kinds of fashion items and apparel, and we want to really do all of them. So while we are starting with shoes and our NFT launch in Milan and so on will be shoes, we're not limiting ourselves to that. We really want to be like a general fashion company.
All right. And what how you're saying also about NFTs and the games, and some Gabriel did bring up a point, because with NFTs you could copy an NFT, like the NFT itself, like the use case of it, or if it's verified, if it's tied to a project, then of course you can't copy that aspect of it, but the image, the look of it, anyone can make a copy, right? So like even the
Absolutely.
party
And
apes, the
it's the
board
same
apes,
with
just the
physical items
image,
as well.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Like you can have your real Gucci bag, and you can also have your China ripoff bag, and that's cool. Like the designs themselves. Like if somebody actually wants to rip off our NFTs, I'd be like, all right, that's pretty dope. That means our design's on point. Congratulations. Good luck with all the minting and so on. But the NFT basically gives you access to all of our a suite of services. Like you can move it from different chains to different games. The thing about like having an NFT, right? It's really, like you said, it's just an image, or some kind of like data. And what we provide with the NFT, like as like a package deal, is the ability to have different resolutions, different what Eddie's calling the voxelated files for the different metaverses, right? So like not every metaverse has the same graphics. It doesn't, so like, a sandbox version of the shoe that you buy, the NFT that you buy from us, will look different than the Minecraft version, and so on. And that like all of those, like you could, in theory, without us, create tens of different versions of your NFT for 30 different metaverses, or you could just buy ours, right? So like that's kind of like the value add that you get. Like, you can literally wear your NFT into any game or metaverse that we support, and we plan to support all of them. Like that's kind of the point.
okay, yeah. So the NFTs themselves, they'll be tied, of course, to you, so they'll have more uses. But just the fact of like Roblox or Minecraft, and having only you're going to be having those shoes, that's not necessarily true, right? Because like we said, someone else could make the exact same NFT, as long as they also have the same capability to transfer that into Minecraft. So for that to even happen, you guys will have to have partnerships with these games, right, to be able to use your user-created NFTs, or it's kind of like the Steam Workshop, like the actual games themselves have to have partnership or avenue for the Steam Workshop and for users to be able to create like mods, games, stuff like that. So to be able to use NFTs in these games, first those games themselves have to have all the updates, and then in the future that's probably going to happen. But that is basically what you guys are betting on, right? That you will have those partnerships with the metaverse, with different games, like I don't know, like there's VR chat, there's Roblox, there's what's the other one, Rec Room in VR.
Let me answer this.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think metaverse is like a hungry hippo, So they crave for content. I mean, the latest version, I can send a link to the group later, that Facebook Meta, right? It's like opening up the shop for people to create their own content, so that the content can be used to populate as well as beautify the whole metaverse that they are building. So by moving forward, it's not that it's pure faith that we are going to work with all this metaverse. I mean, it's a natural course of business. They need it. We have it. We are going to provide it. And we have a solutions of how we are going to give a very special treatment to the people who purchase or even made the whole NFTs, because this is ownership. Of course, there are like copy designers, but I mean, to be very frank about it, would anyone look at the design and say, hey, I'm going to do one for Sandbox and I'm going to do one for Minecraft? For God's sake, I don't think it would happen that way. It's a very mind-blowing, very full effort process. So we are thinking that we are going to be the interoperable layer that's going to make it so easy. So why do you want to copy? Just get it. And this is one thing, and I hope that my answer some of your queries as well. It's like, number one, yes, we're going to tie it up with metaverse, but we're going to tie it up with the bigger ones, of course. It means we have more adaptation for it. Number two, for the copying side, they say imitations is a real flattery. Which if you have the sneakers that I showed you earlier, and you go into the metaverse, someone copy you, you're saying that, hey, do you have the NFT? I'm just saying, So, Alex, you have anything to add on this?
Well, yeah, one thing that the NFT also provides is the ability to purchase or receive, depending on the model. So actually, for our original first Genesis 1 NFT, it actually comes bundled with the physical product as well. In the future, when we release an NFT, that NFT will basically, you can connect your MetaMask wallet or whatever wallet to our e-commerce store and be able to purchase the physical rendition of that NFT that you bought. And only NFT holders will be able to purchase these, the corresponding real world, physical world item to that. So that's, I think that's like a pretty big addition there, right? So it's not just a gaming metaverse. It's also, a coupon for the ability to purchase a physical item as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but we actually had this discussion in CLM today after an AMA that like the whole metaverse. Like honestly, like the way the metaverse is, it's all hype right now. Metaverse this, but if you look at the currently what's out there, we're still so early, and let's be honest, right now I'm not impressed with anything. Even Facebook is having issues. I mean, they own Oculus, and even they having issues making a metaverse, right? It's not as easy as, oh, you're gonna have a metaverse, or some project's gonna come out of nowhere, and oh yeah, we're gonna have a metaverse for 20K. First of all, like we've seen the kind of games that are being made in this space, like Play2Earn, and most of them, honestly, I'm not impressed at all. And a metaverse is like 10x or 100x more complicated than just like some individual game. So I know it's going to happen, but I think we're still really early for the metaverse. And it's kind of like the dot-com bubble, like maybe 1 or 2, 3, 4 will survive out of like hundreds, in the next 3, 4, 5 years. But that doesn't mean like, like the ones who do survive, like it's they could go up and become huge, billion-dollar companies. But like I said, even the mainstream stuff right now is having issues. Or like I said, like the best game you could make in a metaverse is something like Grand Theft Auto. Like put that on an NFT. Like would use real tokens, like the in-game currency you have doing heists, doing missions. Gamify that. Make the tokens with that kind of game. That's probably the kind of game I would play. But all these, like games where you have to buy NFTs for $500 and all it is that click, like Flappy Bird with the skin. It's like, let's be honest, that's not gonna last long. So I'm a bit skeptical overall, like with like the current market and the whole metaverse and the promise of the metaverse. It's just because that's what's hyped right now. Like that's what a lot of projects are doing. But I still think we're really early. And but I'm not. It's nothing about you guys or anything like that. It's just in general. The metaverse is so early, and it's so like how would you say?
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, we love you being a skeptic, and that's what you are known for, and everybody loves you for it because you punch hole into the business plan. So let me share with you, because with the outsourced studio that we have, the contracts that we have tied us up to like end of November. We have seen the trend. Not only for the metaverse, we are talking about games. There are like 3 billion people that are into games right now, and 46% or 45% of them are females. Yeah. So if we are not talking about metaverse, then let's talk about games. Just like what do you say? Because we are not only metaverse, we are able to bring it to compatible or so-called interoperable to not only Minecraft. Yeah. We hope to be interoperable to, just like what you say, it could be a GTA. You could be any online games outside that is able to do it. It's just if we use the tech language, it's just like doing an API. That is more than that because it's a design. Yeah. So, but with the metaverse, let's make a bet if whether it will comes or not. But if it does come, I mean, everybody is spending big money into it. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's a country investment like Korea that is like hyping that they are going to put like a percentage of the country fund into it to make like a big metaverse of the country itself. It doesn't matter. But if it does come, because we are not doing lands, we are not doing buildings, we are doing soft virtual assets. And this soft virtual assets, we already know is already making money. Yeah, even with the games itself. So if the trend does come in, it's like 10 times or even 100 times of what we envisage right now, and we are going to earn more. That's all it is.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think like buying land, for example, in a certain game or a certain metaverse, I feel that's very risky. And it's like playing the lottery. You know, maybe your land will have more value because that certain game or that metaverse will be the one, or it will get bigger. But I feel like assets like what you guys are doing is kind of like the equivalent of Fortnite skins, where you don't get any advantage. It's not pay to win. It's just for someone to stand out, and they're making tons of money. They made tons of money off of that kind of stuff, even though no one got an advantage, right? It's not a pay to earn to win type of game, and it's not play to earn. It's really people play Fortnite for because it's fun. No one's really getting paid unless you're doing some high level competitions and tournaments. But the normal player, they're not making any money off of it. Like most of these games that people play, like they're not making any. They're actually costing them money. Like that's kind of how you make money in the gaming world. I would say it's not about the play to earn games. It's about the pay to win games or the pay to get ahead, the microtransactions. That's why they're so common right now, is because you have these whales that want to be number one, and they're going to drop $10,000 to get some gems so they can level up their heroes to max level in one day. And that's kind of, I think, where the money is currently too, like with gaming. So you have to make a game that someone's actually addicted to, that wants to get ahead, that wants to be number one, or the ones that people play a lot, like streamers playing these games. That's kind of where the real money is. And I feel like a lot of these play to earn games, they're only really good for like maybe the third world countries where someone could earn a couple bucks a day playing it. But those tokens will dry up after they get distributed. The value will just go down because it's almost like a minting function. The tokens get introduced into the economy or into the circulating supply, and then slowly it'll just they will sell those tokens. Because the thing is, most of the people that are playing like play to earn games are selling tokens. They're the ones who are making that $5 a day to go buy themselves or feed their family or whatever. Like people like us or like investors or even gamers, they don't play those games. I mean, those games are, I don't know of a single one that's like something I would even play. Like they're not great games. It's something that someone made in like a couple weeks, right? So it's really important if you want to get big in this space, is you have to stand out and you have to offer something that's unique or first of its kind or something different from everyone else. So I do think the whole wearables part of it and NFTs, it kind of reminds me of like skins, to where like Fortnite, for example, where you don't really get an advantage, but it's almost like a collector's item, and you could stand out. For example, Fortnite, right? When season 1, does anyone even remember what kind of skins those were? And the people that have them now, that's the only way you could get them, right? Nobody could go make a new account right now and get those skins anymore. So it almost adds value to it. I guarantee you, if Fortnite had a marketplace right now, some of those skins would probably go for a lot more than what they cost, than what the players paid for.
Exactly. We're just giving people like satisfying their vanity, just like traditional, just like real life. Why people go for Prada, why people go for branded goods and stuff like that. It's like you want to be unique. You want to stay the symbol, and not only games that you're talking about. We will just make it compatible with the metaverse as well. Like the saying is like, you are what you wear inside the metaverse, and you're wearing your own NFTs, and we are going through not only the virtual world, you can even wear it in the physical world, and that's what we are trying to do.
So you guys, like you said yourself, you started with shoes because shoes is probably the hardest thing. Because I mean, anyone can make a T-shirt, right? You could literally just go get a T-shirt and you get a hot iron, press it on, and that's it. You're done. So you're going with the shoes because that's the most difficult to manufacture. And are you planning to actually go mass produce sneakers, or is it more going to be like always focused with the gaming, with the metaverse, with NFTs in mind? It won't be like 10,000 pairs of shoes.
I definitely don't want to get into the business of like competing with Adidas or a Nike or something like that. What we want to do is we want to do like small drops of limited edition like shoes, right? So we're talking like, niche kind of thing, like mass produce. That's old world. It's been done. What I want to do is I want to have a factory where we produce, let's say, a run of 1,000 shoes, and each one is literally different from any of the other ones, like an actual unique item in some kind of a set or something like that. And this like getting there is going to be tough because the way that manufacturing works is it's basically laid out to do the exact opposite, right? You take one design and you mass produce it, and then all of a sudden there's a million of these things or something like that. And I want to go the exact opposite way. And I think that's kind of like the joke really here, right? Like the whole crux of it is, with the digitalized world in the digital space, you kind of like, we've gotten used to this idea that, you can, like, for very low amounts of money, you can be unique, right? Like your Twitter avatar is different from everyone else's. Like that's kind of the point, right? Like you're supposed to be a unique person on Twitter or something like that. And in the physical world, you're not, right? You're basically you shop at Walmart and or even if you shop at the Gucci outlet, like you're wearing the same thing that other people are wearing, and like you get to choose which crowd that is, and like depending on like how much money you have and so on. But you're like, nobody's really wearing something that's really truly unique, because it's hard to make those things. And there are some people that are going around and trying to find older handbags, for example. Like my ex-wife was super into that. It's like, oh, this is like an 8-year-old handbag. Nobody's wearing this anymore. Like that's how I'm going to be unique now. But we want to actually make like really true, new, unique items that one person has, and that's it. And yeah, they could be part of a set, so there's some kind of like discoverability, some kind of feasibility there. But it's actually truly unique. I think that's really the new wave in fashion.
Oh yeah, I think the business. Sorry, Z. I just wanted to finish off with what Alex is saying, and then you can. So on my side, it's like the scarcity is the word. Like what you have seen just now, what I've shown off is like we are only going to make like 1,288 pairs, and during the exhibitions there are like 30,000 coming in, and at the same time we're selling along. We hooked up with about 8 different CX right now doing INO, which is initial NFT offering, right? So basically we are launching throughout I think it will be totally sold out for that series, and after 1,288. It will be expired. That means we are not going to touch this design or this colors anymore. It will be the next one and the next one. And I hope that answers your questions as well. Sorry, Z, please proceed.
Yeah, so it's more like the limited edition collector's items, like the one that what's the guy did with the blood in the shoes, and they sold out within like seconds, and then they got basically scalped and all that.
Sure.
So it's gonna be similar to that.
Yeah, so like my whole thing, like from the marketing standpoint, right? Like if those like pop-up shops that you see like down in LA, like they have pop-ups where it's like they take an empty storefront, they open it up for a week, and they put like a brand in there, or some random like artist is in there selling hoodies or sneakers or whatever. I want it to have that kind of feel, so it's like super exclusive, and you kind of have to be in the know to find it, right? And then also like this. It doesn't just limit us to, like exclusive releases for ourselves. Like we could partner up with any NFT project and release like a limited exclusive line of NFTs or sneakers for them as well. Like BayC, we could partner up with BayC and have them create like a limited exclusive line that they can release for the sneakers, you know. So we can really partner up with anybody on this. Any NFT project, any fashion project, any artist, anything.
Okay. All right. I have another important question before I move on. Why isn't this AMA announced in the Telegram? Who's dropping the ball?
What?
And the CrazyMeta Telegram.
I'm sorry.
I said, why I don't see any announcements or pinned messages for the AMA.
Z, you're taking this one, bro.
Come on, man.
Actually, I'm gonna be revamping the TG. Yeah, I'm gonna be revamping the TG. It's gonna have a whole different feel, a whole different set of members and everything. So we're building it back from the ground up. So that's why.
So the Crazy Meta Sharks, that TG, the one with 7900, is that one kind of like filled with bots, whatever? So you guys gonna like start a new one, or?
Yeah, you know me, man. I'm all organic, so it's gonna be popping, man.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed that there weren't that many people coming in from like the project. I was like, where's all the investors at?
Yeah, do apologize. I know that talking to you is like talking to my toughest venture cap like a couple of years ago. He said one thing to me, Eddie, don't tell me reasons and don't tell me excuses. Just do it, you know. So, but there's a reason to it. Basically, we started off like 2-person inside the Sharks, and I was like talking, I had like 16 investors from previous startups. So I went up to them and they say, hey, how many people? I think Alex explained it best. Different cultures have different like benchmark for what it is. Hey, you don't talk to me when you do not have like 30,000 inside. So sorry that, it's a learning experience for a startup that I boosted it up to a number so that at least I can start a conversation. But after that was a time that we met up with Serdic. Serdic introduced us to DJam and say that, hey, dudes, you cannot just beef out the number and stuff like that. So as you can see, from 30,000, we go down to 7,000 and stuff like that. And after that, we met up with Z, and Z is like saying, shit, that, we got to start afresh. And that is where we are at.
You should have just kept it at 30,000. Give it to me. I would change it to Anti Ruggers United, and I would charge 20x for AMAs.
There you go. That's another utility of ours.
No, just transfer the ownership later, okay? No problem.
Just transfer it to me. It'll be Anti Ruggers United version 2.0, unbotted, 100% investors, 30 BNB per AMA.
Yeah, but that's one of the first questions I asked Eddie. Like, hey man, your group is it's a shit ton of people in there, but I don't really see much activity. And this team is completely honest. Like, they didn't make anything up. He told me straight up, like, hey, I wanted to talk to these people, and they said I need numbers, so I got numbers. So, but yeah, you know me, I'm all organic. This TG is gonna be revamped. It's gonna be popping, and I have huge plans for that. As you can tell, I mean, you already know about my partnerships. I'm building those as we go. And then I also have a huge, just a different approach for building up the Telegram when it comes to moving into the pre-sale round. I have a big idea for it, and I think it's going to do really, really well.
Okay, all right.
That basically we are going to reinforce everything, because if we go to the exhibitions, we do get the presence with the ape and other attractions and stuff. I mean, and then we're going to put like those are real, organic, real database that we are sorting after. And definitely we are going to give like giveaways if you introduce like 2 or 3 friends, and we'll be you will grow. I mean, it just take a little bit of time and effort.
Yeah, I agree. I have one more question from the community. So Zoom was asking, are they the owners directly of the company, or are they appointed nominees, like shareholders? So like, you're the CEO, right? Are you the actual owner, and the whole team, they're the owners, or are you guys kind of like the front face of the company and there is other people behind the scenes?
No, basically corporate wise, it's like we have 3 partners, as you can see on the slides. Basically it's me, Alex, and this guy called James, who doesn't know English at all, is like very doing his stuff quietly. But we are raising money on not only on the token side, we're raising money on the equity side. That's to be very true about it. And I'm very glad that the person brought up the questions. Is like we do have like investors coming in. I'm talking to the Joe Foster Foundation, which is Joe Foster is actually the founder of Reebok. He sold it already, but he's over about 80 over years old. But he wrote a book about sneakers. He's like the godfather of sneakers. So yeah, all these people will be getting in, but we will still be the owner of this startup. Hopefully that answers the questions.
Yeah, Joe Foster's going to be at the convention with him. And also, just, you know how I work, I'm all about safety, so I did dox the team as well. I have their passports and everything, so my
Okay,
team
because
has
I
it.
noticed on the website, yeah, like some of the I know Eddie has his LinkedIn, but some of the other people do not have their socials. So are they doxed too?
They're personally doxed to me. Yeah, I have their passports and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing about Alex is that he doesn't use LinkedIn, but he's on YouTube if you want to look for him. And we are pretty much very active in our groups, like showing photos and stuff like that. But yes, we are totally doxed. We are totally, even for the company itself and for Certic itself, we are totally clear and transparent about this.
And we
All right, cool.
also, yeah, Jules is also knows their identities too. And we for sure have Alex pinned down. So we're all good here.
All right,
Yo.
since it's very early, right? And you guys are not going to be launching for a couple months, and right now it's just the privates or the seed round. Are you guys going to be launching on multiple launch pads, or you have an idea like what launch pads you'll be launching on, or like what the strategy will be for this?
Can I?
Absolutely. Jules.
Of course.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for you to
Sorry.
come back.
Yes, sorry. I've just been on like 4 phone calls in between the last time I was here. Sorry. Yes, it is going to be multiple launch pads. The launch pads that we're talking to, we can't make any announcement yet, but I'm in a private chat with about 25 or 30 different launch pad owners in the space. And so we've showed it to them. We've had conversations with them. They've come and joined the private room. They've talked with them. So we're ironing out the details there. And I also wanted to touch base on the fact that anybody who, I don't know if this was mentioned before, but you mentioned it's so early now, right? So they're going to this sneakerhead conference in Milan, where it's like one of the largest ones in the world. So they're going to be selling NFTs there, right? That's going to be their introduction into the consumer market, because the consumer market feels like crypto is, shady or whatever. And so that's going to be their introduction into the consumer market on that end. But anybody who buys the seed round now will get an automatic whitelist spot to the minting event that happens. So, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been big into NFTs before, and I just hate all the homework and shilling and all that stuff that you have to do. So if you get into the seed round now, you won't have to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I honestly, I feel like that's just too much of a hassle sometimes.
It's annoying, right? So anybody who does get in early, because we know that, they need this stuff to get it out there into the world. And so we know people are taking a bigger risk, but it also is going to come with some extra perks and benefits to offset that. And I don't know if Eddie honed in on it, but guys, fucking the founder of Reebok is going to be at their booth at a sneakerhead conference saying, I'm partnering with CrazyMeta. Like, that's crazy. And to go back to the initial thing that I think I heard when I walked in the room, I've cited a lot of these documents and a lot of the screenshots of the video calls that Eddie has been having with them. And I can personally say that I've verified their identities. Also, Larry at Certic has as well. He's actually the guy that sent them to me. So as far as being above board, I've done my due diligence because I don't want anything attached to me moving forward that has any of that kind of stuff,
Yeah. And is the white paper updated for all the metrics, like the tokenomics, the percentages?
We had a call about that a couple days ago. A lot of this has actually shifted. Well, I say a lot. The team is flexible when it comes to hearing advice, and we've gone to some really massive private groups where they're like, look, you got to think about this, you got to think about that. And so on DGEM's side, if it makes sense and it doesn't put the project at risk, we've adjusted some things literally in the last few days. So they need to pump a new version out there. That I'll definitely give you.
Again, I know that it's not reasons and excuses, but I'm flying right now because I got to meet up with Alex before he goes for his Asian tour in Hong Kong and Singapore and stuff. This is number one. Number two is a pain in the ass, and I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not saying that the effort is pain in the ass. It's just a process is pain in the ass because, after the tokenomics, you got to change the white paper. We have 2 languages for it. We got to change the website. So yeah, I apologize. It will be updated by tomorrow, as well as the website, like what Boya has said about the family and friends as well. So I will make it a point that once I wake up, which is right now 5 a.m., that will be done.
All right, cool. Okay, let's start. Let's get to the discussion about how we make money now. Get to the good stuff.
Woohoo!
Right, so currently seed round is going on, right? So what are the numbers looking for seed round? Like what? I see there's a 33%, right? That's the seed round discount, or that one shows private on the white paper. But is there like a seed round and then private is additional?
Yes. So, Jewel, should I take this or you want to take it?
Yeah, no, you can. I'll just chime in and just
Thank
say
you.
that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just chime in on one thing if I can, just briefly. Boria, we went to a couple like big whale groups, and we kind of heard their feedback, which is like people want to engage in a seed round, but at the same time, they don't want to have their funds locked up for that long of a period of time. And then when it goes to launch, they have a cliff vesting schedule for 6 months, right? So on the math, for the pre-sale math, we've worked it out where anybody who does the seed round, they get 70% of their tokens TGE, right? Instead of like 5%, and then it's locked up for an ungodly time. And then the rest of it will be released over a period of time. But we're going to give a fair chunk of the seed round investors' money back. Basically, whatever you're putting in now, if you're putting in $5,000, the way that works out mathematically is when they go to launch, you're going to have that initial back before the chart has any activity.
All right. So what's the discount on seed round? Was it like 60%?
33.3%.
Was it only 33? No, I thought the number.
No. It's a 1.5x, right? So you're getting 1.5x worth of tokens. If you got 100% of the tokens at launch, you'd be up 1.5x your investment. The reason we're releasing the 70% is because with the math, you break even and your profits are vested.
Okay, I thought I was seeing it must have been one of the. Oh yeah, I think it was the actual Telegram post. It said seed price is 0.0133, and launch price is 0.02. So that's more than 1.5x.
No. It is a 1.5x.
Let me do that. I don't think so. Let me see. 0.01 equal 0.01323 times 1.5x.
I'm gonna pull up their
spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah,
you are. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. I think because I was looking at it backwards. I was looking at it's only like a 1/3, but it's actually not. Yeah, it's 0.01323.
Yeah, we spent probably like a month going over the tokenomics and the math and everything like that, just to make sure we had it dialed in. There's a few changes that you've definitely detected as far as like white paper and website. We need to pump those out as quick as possible. But the other part on our end, the numbers are solid.
All right, cool. So the seed round, what's the percentage of the tokens, and what is like the hard cap?
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Because I see like on the white paper, the white paper doesn't have a seed round, right?
Oh no, I gotta get it like updated. So basically, your question is what is the hard cap? Let me summarize the whole thing. We total tokens of about 250 million. We're taking about 25% for the whole IDO process, which is divided into 3 phases. The first one is the seed, the second is private, and the third is the public. The seed is just like what you said earlier, which we gone through is 1.5 times. And if you want to talk about discount, it's 0.01333, and the IDO price is 0.02. So basically, you're saying that you're getting about 33.3% discount, but at the same time, if you go for TGE, you'll be up by 1.5 times. And the hard cap, which you have asked about, is that the total amount raised for the seed round is about 200,000, which 40% of every single round would be into the liquidity pool, which is governed by basically DGEM will be overseeing that part as well, which we agreed on. It will be placed on the DEX. As you know, 40% is a good number that the liquidity pool will be very solid about it. So that answers your hard cap. And what other questions do you have other than the hard cap? Sorry.
Is there any maximum contributions for a seed round?
We have placed at about 30,000 per person.
All right, so 200K, 40% is going to liquidity, and for all the other like sales later on, like private and public, it's going to be 40% also.
Exactly.
So it's it works out to a total of 45.45% across all 3 rounds. Because in the seed round they need some money to get up and off the ground. We've worked out the math where 35% of the seed round is going to liquidity, 40% of the private sales going to liquidity, and 50% of the larger raise, which is the public IDO, that will go towards liquidity. It averages out across all 3 at 45.45.
Okay,
but I want also bear in
million.
Yeah, yes, 1.1. Also bear in mind though, because you and I have chatted about this, and it's one of the things that I love talking about, but it's also very confusing. A lot of people think that if you just say we're going to pair 50% to liquidity, that means everything is kosher. But you also have to ask, that's 50% of the funds they've raised, which is fine. But then what creates the liquidity to market cap ratio, and I know this sounds super complex, so if you have a question, let me know. But I'm sure you know, Boria, I'm just saying that for anybody else that might be listening, is how much of the percentage of the supply are you evaluating the whole supply at? So if you take 50% of $1 million, let's say it's 500,000, and you go, yeah, we're going to throw 500,000 into liquidity. Well, that sounds really great. And everyone's like, oh, that's great. You know, that's awesome. But if you only pair that to 1% of the supply and you sold 30% of the supply, then you have a disaster on your hands. Because what that means is you've just said a 1% max bag is worth $500,000 and you sold 30% of the supply. So what we're working with them is a ratio of about 2.5 to 1, where they're selling 25% of the supply. So that's what they're selling. But then when they do the pair, it'll have a 10% market cap to liquidity ratio. So they're actually going to pair 10% of the supply. So they're not overselling all the tokens and then giving a real shitty pairing of only like 1% of the supply being paired with $500,000. It'll be 10% of the supply.
Yeah. Okay. And all the other, wallets, all the locked tokens, they're gonna be. I'm assuming they're gonna be locked for fairly, because even that, like you're saying, even 10% liquidity, that's still not a lot when you look at, for example, like staking is 5%, team is 10%, marketing is 5%, rewards 5%, right? So that could still, it'd be a dangerous situation as long as those tokens are. I mean, if they're locked, then that's kind of what mitigates that. So all those other tokens, like team tokens, rewards, marketing, right? They're all going to be vested for a period of time.
Yes.
Vested as well as inside a smart contract as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because you know what I mean, right? Even if liquidity is 10%, but team token is also 10%. That you don't want to have the team to get 10% right away, because as we all know, no matter, like, even inside the team, sometimes you can't trust even your best friend that could stab you in the back in this space.
Totally understood. All this will be back. I mean, we have seen so many teams. We have came so far. I think there's only one word for it. If we are scammers, there'll be easier stuff that we can think of to scam, and not as hard as this project. And furthermore, with the guardianship, as well as the directions of Jewel, DGEM, Cerdic, Z from Kanda, who are risking their reputations. I think in a lot of ways,
it's not even about scamming. It's not even about scamming. It's more about, like, you might have the best intentions, and so does 95% of your team, but you could have the one guy, you know, that could wreck everything. So it's more about having the extra safety features and redundancies, I guess. To kind of what you can't scam even if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like even if the team just all of a sudden got hacked, their wallet's hacked, they still wouldn't be able to do that. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of like what I meant. Because I know you guys, you know, obviously you're not in the same ballpark as some of these other projects. But you know, like that's the thing. What a lot of these other projects, they use that as a scapegoat. They have, oh, we have one of our team members, is my buddy or my friends trusted him, and he basically had the keys to the contract, and he changed the taxes, or he rugged everyone. So that's kind of what we want to avoid too. We wanted to make it to like there's not even an option to do that.
Right. So we're all up on multi-sigs. We got a 2 of 2 right now, and I totally understand what you're saying because that's what I use for the IRS. So makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I design, you know, structures, so you know, it's all about the redundancies, you know, for my regular job. So you know, you're not gonna just have like one beam, and if it fails, the whole building collapses. You know, that's kind of what I mean. Like you want to have extra safety factors in there. So awesome, yeah. So looks like okay, seed round is 200K. Yeah, honestly, the numbers look good because you know you guys work with DGEMs with Jules, so you guys know what you're doing. You know, because honestly, some of these projects I see is like face palm, like 1% of the supplies going to pre-sale. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? And then the team gets 30%. I'm like, yeah. So after 2 weeks, you're gonna unlock 5% of the team tokens, which is still higher than the whole pre-sale. Like, yeah, good luck with that.
The other thing too is the advice that I've given them, and I think they're going to go forward with it as well. And this is a strategy that I'm advising all of our clients when it comes to team tokens. So I had a situation with DGEM, which looking back on it, it's lessons learned, and you're like, fuck, I wish someone would have given me this advice. So when you have team tokens, and let's say it's 5% or 10% or whatever, instead of at launch sending everybody to their wallets, the 10% of the supply or the 8 or whatever, and then getting them all to lock it individually, what I've told Eddie to do is to have one main wallet that him and Alex are in control of, that all the tokens, the team tokens get locked in, invested, and each week or month, team tokens get unlocked. And then from there, get airdropped to the team members. And there's 2 reasons why that's a good idea. Number one, if you have kind of like a situation where I had where there were some team members that dropped off or maybe some that didn't perform or didn't do what they agreed to do, once you send the tokens to somebody else from the deployer and then you get them to lock their tokens, that may sound like a great idea, but once those tokens leave the deployer wallet, unless you were going to blacklist their tokens, which I've had to do before, there's no way to get those back. So that's a risk that's out there. They could literally peace out after you airdrop them the tokens. And if you don't have a blacklist function in your contract, you're kind of screwed. It's better for the project owner to control all the team tokens. And as people are meeting their quotas, doing what they said they were going to do, or the second reason is like if someone dies or someone gets sick. I mean, we've had some people on our team where they've had like deaths in the family, and that's unfortunate. You airdrop them tokens to work for 6 months, a month in, 2 months in, something unfortunate happens. You need to then be able to recycle those team tokens into bringing someone new on board and not them just having all those tokens there because they were there at launch. Does that make sense for you?
Honestly, man, I thought this is the way that everyone does it. I'm surprised that's actually not the case. Because, I mean, that's how I was thinking. That's how I would do it.
That is not how 99.9% of projects do it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, your idea is definitely the way to go. Because I was thinking that's just the way that it should be done. Because,
I didn't know until it was too late.
Yeah, because you got to lock in the tokens individually, right? Each wallet. So, yeah, if you send them all in, they could just quit the job the next day, and they're going to... Every month they're going to get the tokens unlocked.
Yeah. So we're going to work with them on that as well. And Pat is going to be handling all of the funds. So even for some of the funds that have already come in, they needed some money for some stuff that I was like, oh yeah, this makes total sense. This is legitimate. But they don't have, access to the cookie jar. So DGEM controls the funds. We have an agreement with them on what the ratios are. But we're always saving money for liquidity. And I've told them, like, even if you don't reach hard cap, this thing is still launching regardless. So this thing is like a guaranteed launch, no matter what happens, right? This thing's
you
moving
guys are
forward.
so you guys are basically having your hand in with the project, so they're not just they're not collecting the
Correct.
funds. You guys are kind of managing for them. Okay, so it's a lot more safer.
Correct. Yeah. So we control all the funds in the pre-sale contract, and then myself and Pat, our dev, are KYC'd personally with Larry at Certic, with Certic officially. Also, you can find a KYC certificate on our launchpad with oh gosh, what's her name? We've got another person that we've KYC'd with. So we're the people that are handling, managing, funds and stuff, and we're all KYC for that. We've never had a dollar go missing so far, but we're the ones in control, and that's to protect both the project owners and the investors. So regardless of how the raise goes, this thing is launching, regardless, because we've done the responsible thing and reserved money for liquidity.
Honestly, man, I think this will be the downfall of Pink Sale, because what you guys are doing, we have similar ideas with our launchpad. That's the only way for the future, like to control the basically you need to have your hand in the project, so they can't physically rug. That's the future, because and Pink Sale is almost too big to do that, right? Because they're all like decentralized. They allow 100 projects a day to launch without any kind of oversight. So, and that's going to be the downfall. I think you need to have to make this a safer place. You need some kind of centralized control.
I mean,
you have to.
Yeah. On my side, I mean, I represent on the project itself. We embrace the idea that, Jewel, I mean, DGM is coming in as a partner. Conda is coming in as a partner. So we are totally open to it. Not only that we are reframing or detest the idea of, hey, shit, man, we woke up like 3 a.m. and we're doing all the AMAs, and why are people controlling the funds and stuff? No, actually, for the longevity of the project itself, we embrace it. We want it, and we think that we are so open about it that we know how we're going to spend the money in the right way. So it's okay with us, for us. I mean, for our CrazyMeta project per se.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that you guys are willing to work with with DGEMs, with that kind of partnership, that's basically what projects you want to invest in. The one with devs that are willing to do this, because then their intentions is not to just collect pre-sale funds and run away, right? Like, because first of all, they can't, and that is, I feel that's my vision, that's our goal, and I think DGEMs has a similar one. For this space, for the future of the space, and for preventing scams and rugs everywhere. And like I said, that's going to be I think that's going to be the new thing in the future. So anyway, so currently, right, with the seed round, what are the statistics? You guys are raising it in Matic, right? Is it Matic and
no, they're raising in BUSD. BUSD.
Okay, BUSD.
Yep.
Only BUSD. So what's the current raise amount?
I think we've sent them to the 3 private groups. This week I've got to chase up some guys. We've got about 15K out there floating, and I think we've raised, is it 20K, guys, for that seed round?
Yes, it's 20K, and again, have to state the fact that the day that we are raising is the day that BTC went down to about 18,000. So it was it's a uphill battle at that time, but we got out like we got out good. So yeah, we are proceeding with all the AMAs and necessary steps to do it.
Okay,
so
it's good that it's in BUSD, because I was like, if I'm gonna be locked for 3 months, I don't know if I really want to do in BNB.
Yeah, it's also important to know why they chose Poly. So I'll let Eddie mention that.
Oh, okay. The reason of Paul, basically, we have to go through multi. Yeah, it's just which one are we going to go first? And to be very frank, why Poly and Matic is that there is this lady. She's not only pretty, we met up like 4 times over the Zoom. It's basically she is like the project lead for Polygon Studio from New York. So in conclusion is that they would love us to be in the ecosystem, and we talk about it in the team. We need the partnerships. We need the metaverse. We need we need to hook up with the alumni group that they have, the ecosystem as well. So not only are they giving us a grant, a small grant, working grant, we have signed up the marketing agreement with them. along with the service agreement. And that's the reason why this is like Matic as such. But we are also doing BSC as well, because obviously we have to be cross-chain anyway. Yeah.
Wait, so for Matic you're doing BUSD? I thought BUSD's or USD.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
So okay, so like let me take this. So we are raising in BUSD right now currently with DGEM. But our token will be launched on Matic first, and then almost instantly on BSC as well. So we have talked to Jules about this and Pat, and we're basically like doing a simultaneous launch. But the nature of our token is such that because we want to be on every metaverse out there, and metaverses are built on different chains, our token has to be, and our NFTs as well, has to be very, very fluid across the different chains. So it's basically like built into the project that we're going to have to be everywhere. But we're going with Polygon, like Eddie said, specifically because a lot of the metaverses right now are building on Polygon, and they just have like a huge network that they can introduce us. So earlier you were talking about like, oh, you're going to have to partner up with all these games and so on. And that's what we're hoping that we receive from basically Polygon, like giving us this grant and then giving us access to their alumni. So all of these metaverses that are like currently popular, they're built on Matic, and we have the direct connection to them through our grant at Polygon.
All right, cool. So, but you're raising the funds currently in B as in BUSD or the USDC and Polygon, right?
No, BUSD
Correct.
only.
It's
right?
BUSD, BUSD
Yeah.
on BUSD on BSC. That's what we're raising right now. Yes.
Okay. And then since you're gonna have multiple chains, and with the 40% liquidity and all that, like how will you split it, right? Because then you're gonna have to split like half or one third to 3 different chains. Yeah, right? Because
Yeah. Is that a question for me?
Yes, please.
Damn, I hate it when Boria asks really intelligent questions and then I have to give them. No, I'm just kidding. So the way to work, Boria, the way to work on the math is that the initial starting market cap might be slightly lower, but no one's margin levels will change. Because the benefit of working with DGEM is that, like, we've got a client right now that's going to be launching on Pink Sale with a fair launch. And they're doing that whole fair launch thing where the ratio of price per token changes. So even though they came to do the pre-sale math with us, we gave them the pre-sale math, but there's no way of knowing what the price per token is going to be until later. And they were freaking out about it. And we're like, no, it's all good. We can sort that out, a little bit later on. So if we cut that liquidity pool in half, right? Like you're saying, like say what, 480,000 or whatever it's going to come out to, 45.45%. If we cut that in half and launch on BSC and Poly simultaneously on launch day, then yeah, the starting market cap is going to be initially lower, but it will also increase volume because then people will want to have arbitrage and whatnot. There's also some extra things that we're thinking about on the back end that we're working with CrazyMeta on, as far as there might be through the grant and some of the money that they're going to be getting coming through some of their partnerships, that instead of saying, okay, 50% is for the project and 50% for this, we might work it out where we actually take some of the funds that are going to be coming in and just put it 100% to liquidity to offset that. But if the starting market cap changes, the profit margins won't, because we have the ability to do that into the math.
Yes.
Right, so
I want to add on that just like immediately, because we literally just got it's been like 8 hours since it is like 5:30 a.m. But we had dinner with Larry, and I was asking this question as well, like how do we do it that we're on both QuickSwap and PancakeSwap, and like what's the best way to do this? And Certic, they're always kind of like ahead of the game in some aspects, and they were going to hook us up with an automatic kind of what's it called, Eddie? What did he call it? It was like a automatic price arbitrage smart contracts. So it basically just balances the pools between like QuickSwap and PancakeSwap. So it's an option. We're looking at it right now. I haven't seen any of the code or anything like that, but it's like something that we're very, like, I am very, very I'm optimistic, of course, but I am these kinds of things with markets and making sure that liquidity pool is deep enough and so on. This is like something that I care a lot about. And so, yeah, we're talking to Sodic about being able to balance those across different chains. I think that's very interesting. I didn't actually know that was possible. So that's we're making it happen. It's going to be great.
So are you going to have like the same 250 million tokens on all the chains with the same, I don't know, 30% or 10% marketing, 5% marketing on all the chains? Is it going to be like a copy of the same tokenomics for all the chains, or like
it'll be a copy of the same tokenomics, but with bridges and arbitrage and whatnot, some people get afraid of it. I actually think it creates volume because people are waking up each day going, okay, which chain do I want to be on today? So it'll be the same supply amount, the same contract, all of that kind of stuff. There'll just be a bridge between. And what it sounds like Larry's working out with them is almost like a layered contract that's behind the scenes, measuring the pools and the ratios in each and making sure that that's balanced out properly. The other thing we can do, just to take into consideration, is that initially when they started this, it was like, okay, we're only going to go on Poly. That's where the grant is. It also fits the utility of their token because no one's really doing NFTs on BSC hyper successfully. But then if they have the whole Wear2Earn and NFTs on Ethereum, the gas fees are going to be crazy. So it kind of made sense, perfect sense, to be on Polygon. If they need to just raise, because you're raising funds right now, it's getting mapped in the pre-sale contract at DGEM, right? So that'll be priority, like Alex was saying, was for the Poly, and then he said almost immediately after that will be BSC. If they need to do an additional in a private whale group, just fundraising for liquidity, where any of the money that comes in for that second chain goes 100% to liquidity to balance everything out, they have that option as well. They just won't see any of those funds that'll go to liquidity because that'll be a completely different holder chart since it's on a different chain. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. Well, honestly, you know what you guys should do? Like if this, because like as it is currently, or the way normal other projects do it, every time you launch in a different chain, it's a completely new token, right? It's going to have its own pool. It's going to have its own holders, buyers. It could go 10x. Well, the other one doesn't. Until you bring in, arbitrage opportunities, bridging, and all that, then it should balance out, right? But the thing is, if you raise like $1 million on Matic, and then you raise $1 million on BUSD, technically you have raised $2 million, on your project with two different, basically two different tokens. So honestly, what I should think you guys could think about doing is, if you want to launch on multiple chains, is split everything up so you have a copy of exact same thing across all chains. So for example, I'm going to deposit, or I want to contribute, $30,000 to this project. So I would get 10, and let's say you want to launch with three chains. So 10,000 of my dollars would go into Matic, 10,000 would go into BNB, and 10,000 would go to ETH, and also the same percentage went to liquidity. So at the end of the day, every investor would have tokens in all three exchanges, but instead of having like $10,000 on one, you would have like 1/3 of that on all three of them.
No, Boria, I'll tell you why. Milky Way did it. It went really bad. Okay, and I like those guys, but they did that. It didn't work. Number two, I'm assuming most people in here are probably BSE, maybe some Ethereum lovers. Maybe you've got maybe some people in here that have Poly, but predominantly in TG, you're going to get the BSC crew and the Ethereum crew. The thing is, if I airdrop you tokens on a chain that you don't have any native currency on, I've now presented an entry of a barrier to entry of you being able to go in and do those tokens. That's why we chose BUSD, even though the thing is going on Poly, because we realized that most people were stabled up right now, and most people were stabled up in BUSD. So because there's an extended period of time between now and launch, hey, stable there, stable in an investment that's going to happen in a few months. It doesn't really matter to me. I have the chance of profit over there versus tying up your BNB for months and months. But BUSD and BSC was easier of an asset for the project to gain, right? If we go from a 1.1 to a $2.2 million raise, I think my marketers will scratch my eyes out. I think Gonda Labs will scratch my eyes out. But the other thing too that I'm really passionate about is don't raise money if you don't need money. I mean, obviously more money is better. But right now, what we've really done with CrazyMeta is we've brought this down to the bare bones for a big project of what do you need to take this in a really great way to market and not over raise. And to be honest with you, if they do the whole raise $1 million in BSC and then or Poly and then BSC, we're literally just raising that amount for that idea, but it presents a few problems. But Milky Way would be the use case that I would cite and say they did that. It didn't really work very well for them.
Okay, so can you maybe I'm not understanding correctly how it's going to work, because so right now you're going to be raising the $1 million is going to go on Poly, and all the tokens we're going to get it on Poly, right? So I'm going to participate in seed round. I'm going to get my share of tokens. Let's say I put in $30,000. I'm going to get my 30,000 times 33% discount, whatever it is, amount of tokens at launch, and 50%, like you said, around 50% of the raise will go to liquidity. That's going to be all on Poly, right?
Right.
Okay, then how will you fund? I guess this is the part that I'm missing, because I thought maybe like you're going to take some of the funds raised and you're going to move it, to BNB, or you're going to have a separate type of. How will you fund?
Well, no, we're already in Binance Smart Chain using BUSD. So if anything, what we'll do is we'll move money over to Matic in order to do that pairing. And the reason we chose BSC is just because the gas fees are pretty low to move funds back and forth, if that makes sense. Okay. So now, if someone comes to us and they say, oh, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to contribute in BUSD and Binance, right? But I will get Matic tokens on Matic.
If you would prefer to get it in BSC, there will be a delay, because I think I know where you're going with that, right? So you're gonna get airdrop tokens. Yeah. So you're gonna get, basically they're gonna launch simultaneously. It's just that they want to do it safely and make sure the launch on one chain goes well, like 24 hours to 48 hours before they launch on another chain. And so if you prefer to have it on the chain they're launching with, as of right now, it's Poly. The reason we've chosen BSC is because most people are stabled out, and it makes sense. But if we need to do it the other way around, that's a conversation maybe you can have with Eddie and say, why don't you launch on BSC? We know why you're doing Poly as well because of the whole grant with, Polygon Studios and stuff. But I'm giving you a currency on Binance Smart Chain. I prefer to get those tokens. And maybe it goes where people can put their preference. But the reason I hesitate to airdrop 50% of what you're contributing to one chain and 50% to another is doesn't create that, even though it sounds like it creates a balance. You could say, I'm going to sell on this chain, but then I'm going to keep on this chain. And what we really want is your whole bag to move between the two chains, because it creates transaction fees and it creates volume on the charts, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm still not clear of how both chains will be funded simultaneously, because from what I understand, the $1 million raise, or 1.1 million, and about 50% of that is going to go to liquidity. That's going to be all on Poly.
Okay, let me zoom out. This $1.1 million raise is for the project. The project will be on two chains, right? If, going back to what we said before, if we take the amount of money that we've reserved for liquidity and we cut that in half and we put some into one chain, half of it in one chain and the other half in another chain, then the starting market cap will be lower, but everyone's profit levels will be the same. You then have tokens on one side, and if you prefer to move them to another side, you can out of preference, but it will create that arbitrage volume, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you cut it in half, and then you can basically choose what token you want to get. You want to get Matic or BNB.
Correct. Because the project, not the chain, the project needs 1.1 million. We don't. Okay, if we're going to go on another chain, we don't need to raise an additional 1.1 million, right? You just need money for liquidity. So if we took the amount that we reserved, and this is worst case, because what I'm not telling you is there are other backers that are lined up later on down the line that, because this project has created its budget, if there are people that want to contribute like bigger amounts later on down the line, then that can come the majority of it into liquidity. So we're not worried about the liquidity, but just zooming out, the 1.1 million raised in BUSD is for the project CrazyMeta, and that project will operate on 2 chains.
Okay. See, I feel there could be issues though, since if it's half and half, that's fine. But let's say like 90% of the people want their tokens on BNB, right? And then only 10% want it on Matic. But the thing is, you have to match the token sales, like the amount of tokens you get on both.
I was talking to Serdic about balancing the pools. So like I completely understand what you're saying, Borja. Like that's the issue that I had as well with this strategy, and I think we've solved it pretty much by being able to balance them automatically, like through a smart contract, right? Like it's not even like a market maker or someone like trying to do ARB. It's literally just being balanced in the back end, like in real time. So that's you know, and this is kind of like how we want to play it, because you know, like we're talking about Matic and BSC right now, and that's what we're going to launch with. But you know, we're going to be on other chains as well, so it's going to keep going. And yeah, we need to fill up those pools. And if you know, if somebody comes with like the Phantom CEO who I've been talking to as well, if he's like, you know, hey, like why don't you guys go on Phantom? I'd be like, sure, bro, no problem. Let's fill up that pool, and then we can do it, and then we can balance the 3 pools and the 5 pools and the 7 pools and whatever it ends up being. Because again, like the point is not. It's not because I'm like you know, like I want to like just be on all chains or something like for no reason. The reason is like any chain that has a metaverse at all, just one, and our users want to put our NFTs into that metaverse, we're gonna have to be there anyway. So, you know, why not just go all in and have the, you know, the dexes from that chain, like in like, you know, if somebody if one person is trading there and we balance it out, like that's fine.
Yeah, makes sense. So technically, you know, I'm looking at the chart right now, the pre-sale distribution, you know, the pie chart on the white paper. So how like I know it's outdated, but like let's say we're just using the numbers off of here, off the chart. So sales 30%, liquidity 25%, right? So technically, everything's going to be double because you're going to have a second chart for the different token. So in reality, it's going to be like 60% of token sales instead of 30%, but with a 200% is going to be the cap, because it's going to be double everything. So team tokens, you're going to have 10% on this chain, you're going to have 10% on another chain, right? The marketing, you're going to have 5%.
I think it should be clarified that it's not like you're raising 2 different projects on 2 different teams that are synchronized under one name. It's one project, and these different liquidity pools being synchronized through the smart contract. It's not like they're going to get airdrop 10% tokens for this, 10% tokens for that. That's not the way that it's going to work, because these pools, just think of them instead of another project with its whole tokens and marketing wallet and all that kind of stuff. These are going to be synchronized through a smart contract. This is just, you like CrazyMeta, which chain do you want to be on, not how many team tokens can we get on how many different chains.
Okay, so you're not going to have, like, let's say double the supply, like 250 on Matic and 250 million on BNB.
No, you have to have the same supply to keep everything synchronized. You have to have the same supply, but they're not going to get team tokens on this and then team tokens on that, and because then that acts as a risk assessment of like the liquidity pools can be drained when really all we want them to be is synchronized.
Yeah. Okay. That's the part that I think maybe for other investors too needs to be clear.
Multi-chain launches are quite complex, and they're newer.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I'm thinking like, okay, if you're saying one chain, you're gonna have 250 million tokens total, right? And team tokens gonna be 10%. But you're launching on 2 chains. That means the total supply for the project is gonna be 500 million across, you know, both chains. 250 million on this one, 250 million on the other chain. So that means that team 10% is going to be in both chains also, and then you know what I mean.
The total circulating, the total circulating supply readjusts based on whatever chain has its dominance as well. So, how it automatically shifts based on the amount of different chains that there are. and restricts the amount of supply that's available to accommodate for how much is on each chain, so that the total supply is always the same. But
Okay,
that's not just this project.
Okay,
Or,
so
yeah,
it means
just,
50 million
by the way,
across all,
thanks,
right?
Brian, for chiming in there. So
That's all
the
right.
supply of the token is 250 million, right? And so that might be like at the beginning, that might be all on BSC. Now, if somebody's like, hey, look, I actually want my tokens on Matic because I want to interact with that ecosystem, they will no longer be. It's complex because of course
I know what you mean now. I know what you mean. Yeah,
right. Okay. So
Yeah.
right. So just to be completely clear, right? There's 250 million on each chain, but like they're locked in the respective smart contracts.
Yeah, so you can't really have so it's not really double. It's like 250 million
Right.
each chain. But the thing is, if 70 million is actually being used on BNB, then they'll be locked out of the Matic side.
Correct.
So
There
total,
you got
you
it.
only always have 250. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Because most other projects that had multiple chains or launched, one
They
chain.
use the other chain as a money grab.
Exactly. That's why I'm like,
No.
is it going to be double the supply, double tokens, or okay, makes sense. Okay.
No money grabs here, sir.
It's super confusing. I was invested in Floki, and they had this whole thing where they were on like two chains, and like they had different prices, and I totally did not. I still don't understand what they're doing there. Like I don't get it. I'm a tech guy, and like I read the documentation, RTFM, and all that shit. And I still don't really understand what they're doing there, but like. Actually, what we're doing, even though it's complex, it's actually the simplest case of being multi-chain, right? So it's not two different tokens that are somehow doing the same thing that might have different prices or so on. We're arbing everything in the back end so that they should nominally have the same price, more or less. Obviously, if there's some kind of opportunity, somebody wants to arb that, like great. We're going to be doing that automatically with a smart contract ourselves, because there's in cross-chain kind of the way that cross-chain works, there's always like kind of a delay. And so, like, there might be some kind of like ARB opportunities, something like this, for someone that's really savvy and wants to make their own smart contract, something like that. But essentially, nominally, the price is going to be exactly the same.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. And I think this is the key that I was not aware of earlier about the fact how it works. How you still have the separate supply, but it will lock. So you'll still have only usable supply or whatever it is. Only the combined total would still be 250 million.
I just realized there was a token that I bought. Did anybody get in on Echelon? I got in on Echelon super early. And it worked that way, right? They had a bridge. Sometimes the bridge didn't work half the time. But that's because they were creating their own chain, right? The CrazyMeta is using well-established chains, but basically it worked exactly that way. I'm just realizing it now. I don't know why I didn't use it as a reference before. So when I wanted to take my Ethereum Echelon and bridge it over to BSC, it reduced the amount of the circulating supply on the Ethereum side every time someone went in and out.
Yeah, makes sense. So every time you do arbitrage, it's kind of like you could start off with 1.25 million each, but if I want to move 5 million from BNB to Matic, then Matic will go to 130 million, and BNB side will go to 120 million, right? The 5 million is going to be lower.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And if you want to open up like on Phantom, for example, we're gonna have to somebody's gonna have to buy these tokens from the BSC or Matic and bridge them over to the new one and then create the pool that way, right? So it's like there's no new tokens ever being created. We're capped at 250 mil. Even though, again, on the smart contracts, it looks like, okay, there's 250 mil here, there's 250 mil there, but like they're connected in the sense that they're like locked, right? So
yeah, they're not like doubles. It's
exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is again, this is really complex, and thank you for digging in here because it is hard to understand. Like multi-chain is not easy, and but yeah, the way to see CrazyMeta is that there's a total supply across many different chains or whatever, but a total supply across all of those at 250 million. That's like the key thing to remember here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. That's kind of that definitely answered my questions.
And I just want to.
Previously, before, right? That's not how it worked. That's why I wanted to really get it figured out.
That's because the ones that I've seen that I think you're talking about, Boria, they are like, let's launch on another chain, because really they just want to do another pre-sale without a good reason. And that makes sense to investors. I do want to zoom out, though, and just say that, yes, it's complex. It is annoying and it's like, okay, wait, what's going on? Is this too complex? I don't know. There's a reason for it. And this is one of the few cases that I've seen where a project makes sense to be multi-chain, right? Because of the different metaverses that their utility can tap into. A lot of projects that go multi-chain is just to open up more of a user base so they can get more money flowing from other pools of investors, right? That will happen here, but that's not the main reason that they're doing it. It's not for the money grab situation. It's because the utility wants to be connected to all these different metaverses on these other chains so that they can literally power fashion in the multiverse, not just a single metaverse.
Yeah,
Hey, Magic,
exactly.
for our users, it's going to be very, very normal to go to our website and be like, hey, like I'm going to connect my MetaMask. I have CrazyMeta on BSC, but I want to play a video game on Matic, and I'm going to press this button on the website, and it's going to swap over like a bridge kind of functionality, and then they're good to go, right? Like that's really it. And again, I don't think that there's going to be much of an ARB opportunity. There might always be, but that's not the reason why you would be bridging. The reason is really utility and using the token on a different chain.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, so honestly, like it's still early, right? So the only issue with investing into pre-sale or seed round is you have to wait like a couple months, but it is in BUSD. So I'm sure if BNB drops, you won't, you'll be happy that you did. But if we go 3x, then like, oh shit, man, I should have just waited. But you never know in this space.
Yeah, one thing to give the confidence as well as assurance of, we spend so much time doing every single thing precisely as what we want, from white paper, smart contract, CertiK, Jewel, launchpads. Truthfully, I had dinner with Alex, and we was like saying, bloody shit, if this doesn't go 100 times, it's a waste of our time. Now, I'm just kidding. We'll try our best. But the second thing that I want to add on to this, I do apologize that it's a couple of months, but you have to understand. There is production for, that means the real product in our business plan. That means not only the shoes, like going to the exhibition itself. I'm a project manager and trained. So the Gantt chart is there is cut-off date that we have to do a prototype for this. We have to do design for this. We got to do a video for this. So if you look right now, today is the 12th of July, and the exhibition is on the 8th. I'm already scaring myself off because I'm always the panicky person, that we do not have enough time. And to be very frank about that, the reason of this race, just like what Jewel has said, is it has gone beyond our bootstrap capability, and this is growing too fast in a good way that we need support. But the money that we need is we have to spend it right now, because nobody is going to shitty design for you first or go to manufacture if you do not want to pay the deposit out right now. Yeah. So all these are upfront, and basically you still have logistics to send it from China to Italy, for God's sake. And it takes about 25 days, things like that. So that's the reason why, unfortunately, for this project that you're looking at, uniquely CrazyMeta, because it's not something that, hey, we're going to launch tomorrow and you can play the game right away. It doesn't work like that. That's my explanation for it, and I hope that I'm able to have the patience as well as the indulgence of the supporters to know that, hey, the actual reward is when the NFT is launched and people are buying it and then looked at it, and that is the fulfillment of this. And when the tokens is there, it will reflect on the reward of the patience and the preciseness as well as the planning execution of what we are doing with the whole CrazyMeta project.
All right, thank you. I have one more question before I open up the community. So you guys had a previous NFT sale already?
No, the so-called October one is our Genesis release.
So has that one been sold out? I think you mentioned something has been sold out, right? There's an NFT.
That one we tried out with Burning Moon, which is doing caps for them basically, and we did a very internal launch that they're going to use it for contests and stuff. So that is another avenue that we will be opening up, which is we are able to co-brand, or we are able to do it with partners. For example, like right now you have, let me take a look. You have like 3,036 members, 438 online. We are able to put your logos onto the cap itself, and we are able to launch it with you. So those are the things that we have done. It's not our real launch. Our real launch will still be in October the 8th.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, I'll open up to the community now for questions. Go ask. I know, like, I might have missed a couple. I know some guys were asking in chat, and there's someone was interested in asking a couple questions. Okay, I think Zoom asked this. What's venture capital and the real investors' opinion of the project being in crypto space? Because you guys did mention you were talking to venture capitalists, right? So mainly this kind of investment is very complicated in the books and accounts, how they will profit from this. Yeah, I understand this question, because even I have, it's a pain in the ass tracking everything. You know, your crypto investments, you have all your wallets. Nothing's really like on your account. You know, it's not like CEX where you just get like W-2 or whatever at the end of the year. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, what is their opinion? Since you talked to the venture capital, what are they thinking? Like, do they want to invest, or like, what is their outlook on this?
Of course. Thank you, Zoom, for this. Basically, you brought another dimensions to the people listening in. Basically, if we talk that we are Web3, we are not exactly Web3, neither are we Web2. Let's place CrazyMeta as a 2.5, as a hybrid, right? So if you guys know about this startup from France, which has been acquired by Nike, they are called Artifact, and they dropped 620 pairs and sold out in virtual sneakers, sold out in 5 minutes for 3.1 million. And not only that, they are also clone X and stuff. So what the equity investors are looking at, not the token side. Like, for example, like you guys that are investing in tokens, you're thinking that, hey, these guys can go for 50 times, 100 times, or even more. But the so-called VC, the traditional one, are looking more long-term. They are thinking the value proposition is this. If that means on our white paper and planning, as well as execution, as well as the team, is able to get the whole workflow right, meaning not only on the virtual side as well as the physical side, and not only for the both dimensions, we're able to bind these two together and capitalize with what we are doing right now, will be valuable. We are actually a very, how should you say, all the brands will be looking at us as a takeover target, just like what Nike has taken over Artifact, because we know the games. We know how to do it in a way that not only the brands will exist in the virtual space, we are able to also tie it up with the physical space. Yeah. So the so-called traditional VCs look at us like the value added would be like, it's the same thing, like 100 times or even more when the brands are looking and knocking on the door saying that, hey, these guys know the game. And we got to get in the game because metaverse is going to happen. Of course, Boya is going to say that, hey, it could be years away, but you got to get in early. It's a zero-sum game anyway. Yeah. So that is what my opinion about what the traditional VCs are looking at us, like a CrazyMeta.
I mean, yeah, you could make the argument that's exactly what the founder of Reebok is looking at us for, because they see the potential in just the growth in this. You know, it's not just shoes. It could be anything. It could be sweats, it could be shirts, it could be hats, it could be anything. It could be makeup, it could be anything. There's the partnerships are unlimited when it comes to this project, and I really feel like as the multiverse picks up, this project will pick up right along with it, you know.
Absolutely. And like, in the fashion space right now, everyone is licking their lips about the potential of the metaverse and these kind of things. I know, like, we've said this, and like, we in the space kind of know that it's very early and so on. But these people in the fashion space, they're like, wait. So like people are going to spend time online and like be naked in front of their computers now. Like, wait a second, like let's figure this out. Like we want to be there. And so yeah, like I think it's actually, and one other thing that we didn't even mention in this call is like we got accepted to a fashion accelerator in Singapore where I'm going to be for 8 weeks. And they're like, what? You guys are doing fashion in the metaverse? Like, please come, tell us all about it. And I'm like, okay, then tell me more about fashion because I want to know more about that. But it's like this space, it's coming. Like at least people think it is, and these fashion companies very, very interested. And I think as an acquisition target, yeah, absolutely. Even just as just to see what can be done, all kinds of like partnerships with established brands. Remember, we have this whole pipeline, but we don't necessarily have to do the physical. Like I don't want to make handbags for Gucci, but if they want to have NFTs for their handbags, like please, like be my guest. Like we can do that for them. So there's a lot of like partnerships and these kinds of like white label opportunities with our technology for these fashion companies.
All right, cool. So I have a couple more questions, guys. So first of all, there's no taxes, right?
Hello, everyone. Can I ask?
Oh yeah,
Hey,
go
Jules?
ahead. You ask.
Ali, how are you? Guys, before asking Alex, Joel, Z, sorry, to bore you as well, full respect, but I have to jump to another AMA that is starting in 5 minutes. So you guys can wrap it up. Alex?
Yeah, like Eddie, how about this? Like you're gonna do the presentation anyway on the AMA. I'm just gonna stick around for as long as people have questions here. Just like as a nod to Boria, who helped us out.
Well, thank you very much. I do apologize. I love this so much that I want to stay, but I got to be there because it's like, we are presenting group. So I do apologize, but thank you very much. I thank you for all the support. And if you are invested, we are going to do like the best sneakers for you. So thanks a lot again.
Yeah,
Make sure.
Yeah, you good luck on the next AMA. And Alex, like you said, he's gonna stick around. So we're gonna still continue on for a little bit.
Eddie, I'll catch you in a bit. I'll be there as soon as we're done here.
Hey, Alex, I also have to bow out to another pre-scheduled call, but just don't forget to drop the whitelist link when you guys get done.
Yeah. I'm
Z has it. Z has it. He will drop it.
Z has it.
Got it.
All right.
Perfect.
We got it.
All right. All right.
guys.
You could go ahead and drop it now if you wanted, I guess. It's up to Boria. Boria, I got to bounce, but if you got any questions on the back end, hit me up.
Boria has it.
Yeah, I'll drop the link, guys, for the pre-sale or for the seed round. Anyways, so we have a couple more questions, right? So one we haven't discussed is the taxes. Is there going to be any tax?
So originally there was. I need to check exactly what's going on with the updated tokenomics from Jules. But Connor, do you remember?
No, I don't have the update, so I don't want to give them.
Yeah, exactly. So originally we had a 4% sales tax and no buy tax. So I got to check those numbers again. It really depends on like how we fill up the liquidity pool and so on. Like that's what the taxes would be for anyway. So I can't really answer that right now, but I will definitely get back to you on that.
All right, cool. And I have a couple more questions, but I'll let Ali go first. Ali Gamil, you want to ask your question?
Thank you, sir, for your opportunity. Do you hear me good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I will try to be fast in my question. My question is about security. I want to know more about it. I don't know if you speak about this. It's too important for me because I lose some money in another project because security was very low. So it's really important for me this point. And you have really nice project here. If you can tell me about it.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. So I think we touched on it earlier. One of the things that we are doing as a project is that for our raises here before we go to IDO, we're basically letting the experts at DGEM manage our funds. So, like security in the sense that we cannot rug you, even if we wanted to, which we do not. Yeah, we can't. Like that's like you're secure against malicious founders in that sense. As far as like, I don't know exactly which project you lost money on, and I'm really sorry to hear that, by the way. But we're definitely any kind of like funds that we actually do have. That's basically Eddie and I. We have a 2 of 2 kind of. Well, it's actually a 4 of 4. So 2 devices each of us have that's like locked into our multi-sig wallet. So both of us basically have to agree that we move funds and so on, and connect both of our devices to it, and that's kind of how it works. I also like I'm like a tech guy. I'm like I just made Eddie buy a new phone, and we're like on that sense, like security is pretty broad, so I'm not really sure what you want to hear here, but I am also very concerned with security, and I think we're doing the right things.
Thank you. That make me feel good. It's really nice project. I would like to be with you guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ali, and thanks for your question.
All right. Anyways, Ali, like I wanted to also say, yeah, I think you're new here today, so welcome to our group. And I know we all got rugged at some point, and I think being here is actually could hopefully change things around, because we haven't gotten rugged here as a group in a long time, because of just the way we do the AMAs, just the way we vet projects. So you're definitely welcome to be here and stay with us, and check out the AMAs we do, because we definitely try to look out for the investors. And like I only really want to invest into projects that I definitely feel safe, and that's why we really ask a lot of questions. We don't try to hype them up or pat them on the back. We really try to find out if it makes sense to invest in a project, if we're going to make any money on it. Like there's a high chance of making money on it, or there's a high chance of it rugging. So definitely welcome here, and hopefully you could learn something. And this project, like AK was saying, since DGEMS is going to be handling the funds, I think the risk is actually very low of any kind of potential rugs or anything happening. So, and that's usually not the case. This is like, hasn't really been happening with Pink Sail or any other launch pads. So this is definitely something that's different. And so I definitely do think that the safety factor is a lot higher with this project.
Yeah, also they went through our vetting process as well, and I personally doxed Alex, that's here on the mic right now. So they've been through a lot of vetting. They've been through a lot of like interviews. They've been through a lot of refinement of their project, and they're just at that point right now where they just need the funding to move forward, and they're ready to go.
Yep. Okay, so we had another question concerning the way the project is with the token. How's the token going to interact? Because this seems more like a real life business using the token as a fundraising tool, kind of like I don't know, like crowdsourcing or crowdfunding type thing. So what are the investors of the token going to get out of it, right? Because this is going to be a real life business. It's going to be I mean, of course, you get hyped, people know about the project, the token they're going to buy the token, but how is the token going to be used, and how will it affect? Is there going to be profit sharing? Is there going to be like revenue that's going to be split, for the holders of the token, with the owners, or like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the benefit for the investors?
Absolutely. Okay, so I get the question completely. So first of all, as far as like the utility is concerned, one of the things that I've been saying in these AMAs is that, for us, CrazyMeta as a company, we are trying to do what Bitcoin did for banking and finance to the fashion industry, right? So this whole concept of the DAO, this whole concept of like the fashion DAO, the CrazyMeta fashion, is basically that we want people to create. We want to help people create, and like this pipeline that we've been talking about the last 2 hours is from the creation of the NFTs and so on up until the finished actual physical product. That all costs money. And for someone to like enter that and like come up with their own design, like they were going to do that in tokens, right? So like it's, you have a design, maybe you have a sketch or something like this. You come to us, we give you a 3D model of it and so on and so forth. There's the whole, like vetting by the community and so on. And like all that, like just like a DAO, right? Like a DAO as you have heard of them before. So that like on the utility side of things, as far as like what you can do with the token, that's definitely one of them. Obviously, of course, you can buy our physical products with the token and so on. Kind of like a simple currency type scenario. And then in terms of the why we have a token and what this token is for, there's also this whole like Wear2Earn aspect, right? And so this background noise is getting kind of annoying. Sorry about that. Anyway, this Wear2Earn, the way that it works is that we will basically give out tokens from our treasury to people that are actively wearing the physical shoes as well as the digital shoes in metaverses at like specific events and so on. So it's like kind of like a marketing ploy, right? It's like you wear our shoes, you go somewhere to some snazzy event, and you get paid for it. And you post that on Twitter and so on, you get paid for it. And so that kind of like run to earn kind of style, like the DeFi thing that was super popular maybe 6 months ago. We're doing that as well. So that's another aspect of the token. And then as far as the like what the investors really get, right? Like hopefully, like that's why I'm doing this project. The more and more users will be using this, and the price of the token will rise, right? So it's an investment. As far as putting back dividends or something like this, it can be discussed. I think this is the purview of the DAO, but that's definitely an option. It's something that we can look at. It's not currently in the roadmap.
Okay, because I mean, like literally, like the investors are the ones who are, in a way, helping you guys start the business, right? You're going to be using the investor funds for the shoes, for everything, for all this. So it's kind of like if you're raising, if you go to a venture capitalist and you ask for $1 million, and you're not going to give them any of the profits. You're just going to be like, well, our token's
No, I mean, like you buy at a lower valuation, right? It's the same thing. Like with the VC, like early angel round, you get into the company at an early valuation, and it's the same here with the private round, right? It's like you're getting your 1.5x on TGE essentially. So as soon as we're on an exchange, you're already up in profit. It's like that's like we're trying to do the best we can for the investors.
For the token itself, yeah, but you're also going to be having real world type of product or revenue, right? Like you're going to sell in the sneakers, sell NFTs. So since the sale of the NFTs themselves and the sale of the sneakers is all made possible by the investors that are funding the token, you know what I mean? So I think you probably want to think about how the revenue from that will go back into the token too.
I see. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely something that we should be thinking about. I think you're right.
Because it's kind of like we're giving you $1 million, and now because of this money, you could do other things with it. And now let's say you're spending that million, half of it is going to go to liquidity, so the other half is going to go to the project, right? So now you're going to be making shoes, and these shoes are going to you sell for profit. All this. So what I'm trying to say is, if you did not have that $1 million, then you would not be able to do the shoes. So what I'm trying to say is, I think the revenue should be going to expanding the business, expanding, the marketing, whatever you guys are doing, which is going to either directly affect indirectly affect the price of the token, or you'd also do some kind of buyback, some kind of, incentives for investors that would indirectly.
So we haven't really discussed buybacks or anything like this. Obviously, the first portion of what you just said, the NFT being sold out and so on, will have at least an indirect effect on our token. As far as like a direct one, such as a buyback or some kind of burn, maybe just some kind of like dividend payout in BUSD or something like this. This is something that we don't have currently. Not to say that we won't, but it's not currently in the roadmap.
Okay, but you know what I'm coming from, right? It's kind of like GoFundMe, like for example, like like what's the game that's been in development forever? Star Citizen. I think they raised like $100 million over like years and years. and most of that is by gamers. It's not like actual investors. Like they actually want to play a game, right? So it's kind of like what I'm saying is it's kind of like GoFundMe or crowdfunding for a business, to where the business is going to be making money, not just from the crypto part of it itself, but like the real world. So yeah, so I think that's definitely something to think about, I would say, because I do think that investors, especially if it's like venture capitals, if they're just getting tokens, they want to own the business too, right? Because that's how it should be. If you're starting a business by crowdfunding a token, the investors should realistically own part of that business too.
Yeah. So the way that it's structured now is that the DAO receives money, and if should the DAO vote that it pays itself out according to the holders, then I mean, who am I to say that that's not the case? Like absolutely, like, as a token holder, you are at least through the DAO, you have access to the funds, right? Your vote counts, like where those funds go.
Yeah, that's all we want, yeah. As long as as long as all the funds raised or made by you guys in the real world could be voted on by the DAO, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's at least a portion of it. Like we do have to keep some of it in just for keeping our contractual obligations with real physical factories and so on. But the profits that we receive are a portion of those are going back into the DAO, and then the DAO really has the ability to choose what's going on.
All right, cool. I saw. I think there's one more question, right? Someone tagged. Let's see, Warrior Master. Where's he at? Someone. Okay, I see. The project sounds to me like some kind of combination of Shoeify NFT and Drip. I don't know if he meant Drip or Dripto. As you also mentioned, as use case about Drip, but I wonder how motivated will you guys be adding 1,000 pieces each? I'm not. Okay, let me go just like forward this because it's kind of hard to understand this question. 1,000 pieces each at least, and it could be more than 1,000 sometimes too. Like I think he's asking about the shoes manufacturing or selling 1,000 shoes.
Yeah, I think he's asking about like each release. How much are we gonna release, right? I think that's really gonna vary, right? Because like let's say we partner up with an NFT project and they only want to release 50 NFTs, but they want to charge a ton of money for them, right? And they want to release 50 NFTs and make 50 sneakers out of them. Then that's what we're gonna do then, right? Or if we partner up with another one that wants to release 1,000, then we could do that. So it's really open to whatever.
Absolutely, it's definitely not like a one size fits all template or whatever. Like if we partner with someone, they want something special, like that's just how it's going to be. Like I want to keep that very open. Like each item that we produce should be very unique in in as many aspects as possible, including like the rarity of it and the series size and so on.
Yeah, like if Elon wants to release one NFT and sell it for $10 million for charity, then we're releasing one NFT, which I'm working on, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Any more questions, guys? So I'll be posting the link right now for the seed round application. So once you fill it, are you going to get some kind of address to send it to, or how does it work?
Yes, that's how it works.
Okay, CrazyMeta seed round.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you guys are contributing, please, for the fourth question, it says, who referred you? Everyone that's using this form, please type in Aru. So we'll keep track of, what investors are coming from which lounge.
This is our third group we brought it to. And as you can hear, they just went off to another group. And then I'm going to be doing it in several other groups after this. So you guys are one of the first ones because of our newfound relationship over here, Boria.
Oh, yep.
Well,
by the way,
I'm still around,
yeah.
But Boria, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. This was a long one for me. Usually we kind of do like an hour and a half, something like this. So this is great. I'm very happy. I love the questions that you asked, and I love how you go deep. I'm kind of somewhat of a deep guy myself, if I may say so. But yeah, so that's great. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, like we usually do about an hour and a half on average. Also, like this one, honestly, I had like a lot more stuff to go into, but like we didn't really have time to go through all the little details. I think the most important part is just about the tokenomics, about the pre-sale, private sale, the numbers, and I think the concept itself is good. With the NFTs and the actual shoes and everything. Like no issues with that. The safety factor I think is good because you guys working with DGEMs, they're gonna be having two-factor or multi-sig for the wallet. So I think the risk factor is fairly low for like rug and everything. But like the only thing I would say is just the fact that it's going to launch in a couple months and basically just how it's going to grow. That's the gamble that investors need to make. Because this project, let's say it gets adopted by all the different games, all the different metaverses, it can go huge, huge, crazy huge in the next couple of years. Or there could be projects that, just take their pre-sale funds and kind of like die off as slow, like quote unquote slow rug over the years, or even over the months.
For sure. One thing I have to say, like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I am tooting the horn of my co-founder, Eddie. Eddie is relentless. And, like, for example, this thing in Milan with the sneakerness, like, this is just something I want to, like, share with you guys based on what you just said, Borja, is like, we had this kind of connection. He was like this friend of a friend of a friend kind of deal with this organizer for this this conference or this, fashion gathering, whatever you want to call it in Milan. And, they never got back to us. They're busy, something like this. It's always, you know how it is. And Eddie literally went through like every person on LinkedIn, like literally every single user of LinkedIn, figured out how close they are to, this is all manual. Like he didn't ask me for a script or anything. And like found, I think it was like 250 people that are somehow connected to the CEO of this group. And he sent 250 messages, just straight up like, hey, I need to talk to this guy. What is his private phone number? Where does he live? And Eddie's just that kind of a guy. Like, he'll just run anything down. And that's also why I partnered up with him. I am not that guy. I'm the guy that would spend, an hour writing a script to automate a task that would take me 20 minutes to do manually, right? So exactly the opposite. But Eddie will just do it. Like, he's the Energizer Bunny, and he's really, like, if you're worried that we're not going to get a certain partnership or something like that, like I wouldn't be, because Eddie will find them.
Yeah, I've been working with them for a couple months now, like about a month or a little over a month. And yeah, I can verify Eddie he's a beast, man. Like he has my drive, like he's awesome.
So let's do one more question, guys, because I want to wrap it up. And Shishmish asked, I don't know how this is related to you guys, if you guys are going to be using this or not, but he said, do you think there's a market for 3D scanning feet for custom shoes?
I gotta say that I also am the wrong person to ask here. I do hear stories of people saying that like their feet are like broad, like too wide or something for like normal shoes and like these kinds of things. Like, I've touched on these issues. I've been like researching shoes more than I ever have in my life for obvious reasons. So I there might be something like that, but I do think that's like very niche. I think like the way that shoes are created, the way that shoes are made right now, seems to be working because most people are wearing shoes. So I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like it's like wide or narrow. Not narrow. That's kind of like the main thing. But unless it's like women's shoes, like high heels or specifically very like form-fitting type of shoes, I don't think it's really that big of a issue. Or unless you
for
have huge
sneakers,
feet,
definitely
unless
not.
like
But
size
maybe for
15 or
something like
something.
that, yeah.
But yeah, if you have like sandals or high heels, or yeah, I definitely could see that. But yeah, not for sneakers. Unless you had like I said, you have like Shaquille O'Neal type feet.
If you have toes where your heels are, these sneakers aren't for you.
Yeah. All right, awesome, man. So okay, let's go wrap it up. You want to do like a final conclusion, final statement, and then I'll end the recording?
Honestly, I've said what I want to say. Maybe as a final thank you to the community here and to you, Boria. Yeah, thanks for having us. And like this is we did go over the time, so like obviously there's some questions or some issues people have, and I pride myself in being quite open, and I want to educate anyone that is interested. So please just join our group and ask any questions you have there. And then the obviously the link was posted for our seed round. So if you want to participate, please click on that. Please fill that out, and yeah, join us on this journey. I'm very hyped, very excited.
Thank you, man. And by the way, like Z was saying, you guys are going to change the Telegram, right? So it's probably not that important to join it now, because I think you did say that you're going to redo the whole Telegram group.
Sure. I mean, join it if you have a question. Like,
yeah.
And we'll probably get the real humans from that Telegram to the other one, something like that.
Okay.
I'm hoping that there's some kind of way to do that. But yeah, like what I'm trying to say is like not join our Telegram so that our numbers go up, but like join our Telegram to talk to me and ask me anything that we might have missed on this AMA.
All right, awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Awesome AMA, and yeah, guys. Like you said, I uploaded or I posted the form for you to fill out. Please, for question number 4, like if you're gonna do a contribution, put Anti-Ruggers United as who you got referred by, because that will keep track of us and the fact that we are raising funds for this project. And I'm definitely because I haven't really been hyped about many projects lately. Like I think the only one I invested in the last 2 months was the AMA we had a couple days ago, Athena, I believe, because those guys, they seemed like they knew what they were doing, with the bots and everything, and that project's actually doing pretty good. So I think I'm still a pretty good judge of what to invest in, what not to invest in. And yeah, this is probably the second one that I would invest in the next,
What is this wood thing? Is it? Are you going to invest, Boria? Can I ask you to?
What's that?
You said wood. You would invest.
Yeah.
Are you going to, bro? Are you coming in?
Oh yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, for sure. The only thing is I don't like to tie my funds up for too long, but it's BUSD, and I probably want to stay in BUSD anyways. I'm not trying to buy in most of my BNB up or my Ethereum up yet. I think it's going to drop further. So that's one of the reasons. If it was BNB, I don't think I'd invest, to be honest. I think I want it to drop, and I think it's still a high chance that it will. But because it's BUSD, I think you guys definitely made the right decision to collect in BUSD. Because here's the thing, right? If BNB drops and you collect in BUSD, so you're fine. And if BNB picks up, that means the market's hyped. So either way, you're win-win. Win-win for you, right? Because yeah, you collect in BUSD and the market's hyped, but but so your BUSD did not go up in value, but it's hyped, so your project's going to be successful. Or if it drops and then you collect in BUSD. See, either way, it's a win-win situation, I think, doing it in BUSD.
For sure. That's why we're on it. Awesome.
I want to add though, Boria. Yeah, like I said, we're going to be revamping everything, but you definitely will see us everywhere. You're going to see us everywhere coming up pretty soon. So just invest now. I guarantee you, it's gonna when we start picking up and start spreading the word about the project, it's going to fill quick. So get in now while you can, and then just stick around. Anti-Ruggers, just any group you're in, you're going to hear about us in the future. So just keep an eye out for us.
Yep, and don't forget, guys, this is still early. This is only the 3rd AMA. Like, it's only seed round. They won't even launch for 3 months. So this is your chance to get into a seed round, into a private sale, without having to fight bots, without having to fight for whitelist spots. And you could put in as much as you want. 5K, 10K, whatever.
I have a question.
Yeah, Gabriel, sorry, but it's not. His birthday divided by 7 times 11 is not going to be 666.
What is the minimum? Oh my!
Contribution?
What is the minimum amount? Yeah, of the. Sorry, but it's like.
I think we're over at DGEM. They're saying $500, 500 BUSD.
Okay. Minimum amount of dollars. Yeah, contribution. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for the seed round, with the largest discount that's available for the token.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but later on, it'll probably get reduced once they go public. Pre-sale. All right, cool guys. Let's wrap it up, and we'll be doing the giveaway. You know, Shmish, he said to $500 is the minimum, I believe. So once again, thanks guys. If you're contributing, you have to fill out the form. I mean, it's probably no rush. They're still gonna have multiple sales, and the seed round, I'm not sure how long it's gonna last until it fills, right? Probably a couple more days, a couple weeks maybe. So it's not something you have to do like right now today, but definitely I'll join the group. Keep an eye out. I mean, don't forget, these guys have been working on this for a long time. I had Shark Tank with them, like I mentioned in this AMA. This was months ago. When I think their initial raise at that time was like 40 million or something like that. That's what they were targeting. And,
Actually, Boria, since
so now
we're still here, like, and you just talked about the Shark Tank, can I ask you, like, what do you think? Like, how far have we come in your eyes?
honestly, man, I was not the only one, but like I was actually trying to be nice at Shark Tank, and I did not like the shoe design. I thought it kind of sucked. And I did some guys DM'd me too. Like, I don't want to say who, but like they did not. Honestly, I thought it was okay, but some of the other guys were like, "Man, these shoes are not that great. I don't like the way they look. Like, you know, they're not flashy, whatever." So, but my issue was, of course, with the numbers, and you know, like I think the market cap was super high, and like because I think raising like 20 or 40 million, that was like the goal. And I'm like, that's never going to happen. But I think the numbers right now are definitely a lot more reasonable, a lot more manageable, and definitely for investors, that is much better.
All right, cool. So both of those things got revamped. So I feel quite good about that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. In my defense, like we just came off of like a huge bull market where Bitcoin went up to 60K. So we were a little bit late to the party there with our huge raise there, but yeah, I mean you were right, and that's why we went back to our guys with Jules and DGEM and Honda and just kind of like short up those numbers. So yeah, thanks for that advice, and it was really eye opening and enlightening to enjoy the mentorship of the Shark Tank. That was quite nice.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. I think the Europeans got to go to sleep. All right, so I'm ending the recording. The YouTube video will be out shortly. So once again, thanks, guys. Hopefully, you guys could share this YouTube video once I put it up, because we're trying to grow our community on YouTube also. So thanks again.